But okay, I think we've got maybe one or two online. Two. Perfect. So just in case. Oh. Isn't that how it goes with men? I mean, but he loves that show. He's like, it just reminds me of like childhood, and it's so good they don't make stuff like this anymore. It's that and what's the other? Perry Mason. Loves Perry Mason. I, and I'm so glad that this is a they do like TV Land, right? Yep. Usually plays all these like throwback shows and stuff, and it is just black and white television for like the evening. Okay, but we'll go ahead. We'll jump in real quick just so that we can make the most of our hour together. And of course, obviously, if you guys have any questions, we'll go through any questions along the way because I'm terrible about remembering my questions by the end. So if you've got them, let me know. But otherwise, I'm just going to share with you guys the website so you know where to find the extra tools and resources. And because most of you guys actually met with me so recently, a lot of this should be actually some recap from when we met together. So hopefully it is very straightforward and it just gives you guys a good lay of the land. But we'll go ahead and dive in because I want y'all to enjoy the weather and the Friday that you've got before this weekend, right? I mean, it's a little hot, right? But and the sun is not quite shining, but at least it's not downpouring. It was because of PGA. Because of PGA. The tournaments here and the literally they okay, I'll just side notes. David Seaboard shares a wall with me, and he is so wonderful and he's got like a very big passion for like planes. And so he has like the radar so that when Air Force One and stuff comes through, like he can see like the plane, he'll be like, look out the window, like that's the president and stuff. So it's kind of fun. And today he's like, hey, look out the window, there's the Goodyear blimp. And I was like, oh, like there it is. Those things move a lot faster than I thought they did. See, yeah. 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 Well, it just passed by Valentine probably like an hour ago, maybe. So maybe not even. Probably not. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, it went a lot faster than I thought it would. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was like I kind of like I looked at it and then I like turned around thinking like this thing's gonna take forever to pass by. And I like turned around, I was like, oh my God, it's gone. I was like, probably should have taken like more mental note of where that was. Um, okay, so we'll go ahead and dive in, guys. The very first thing I like to show you on kwbresources.com is this new agents tab, just because it's going to keep a lot of key info in front of you guys. So on this tab, on the left-hand Get Started button, we hit Learn More, and that will actually take us to see a checklist that overviews the onboarding process here. However, everyone that is attending this meeting today has actually completed their onboarding, so congratulations. You guys are officially part of KW Valentine. But I do also like to mention the things you can do immediately at the bottom here, which is obviously browsing KWB resources, going to our office calendar, which we'll explore that in a little while, attending Ignite if you've never taken that program before, because it is very helpful to laying that foundation for your real estate career. We'll talk about some key Facebook groups to be part of, and then attending office meetings, which you ladies are already absolutely doing. So thank you. I appreciate that. You're on the right track. So we'll head back over. The next button that's under our new agent tab I like to share with you is learn more under basic training. It will take you to the Scott Leroy marketing website. So obviously some of us are a little more familiar maybe with Scott Leroy than others, but they are the ones who do your initial technology setup with KW, specifically with this office as well. And so you may have already heard from them and been connected with them once or twice. However, their team does a lot more than just that initial setup. They're actually a continued resource for you as you move forward. So on their website, I only mention a few things because we could spend so much additional time here. But the first is just because we land where that search bar is. My favorite thing to mention is that, of course, that makes it so easy to find different information on the page. The other thing I always point out is QR codes. I know are very, very popular nowadays, especially on your print marketing. If that's something you guys would ever like to take advantage of and include on your marketing, I know sometimes we don't always know how to go about creating one ourselves. So I was going to say, it's always nice when you do, right? I learned it eventually. But if you don't, you can actually search QR code under that little bar there, and it will bring you to a QR code generator. You actually just place in the website that you'd like to link it back to, provide a little bit of your information, and the Scott Leroy team will make one for you for free and shoot it back to you within the hour. And then you can go ahead and add that to whatever you're creating in your design studio. So that can be really helpful. But they also do so many other things that you can reach out to their team for free, and they'll actually help you guys along. They've got some great templates out there. They've got some great services they can assist you with, like your email signatures and things like that. So do keep them in mind because you can just simply email them and ask them for assistance. And then 9 times out of 10, they are happy to help. However, if they are not able to help you directly, they will always give you like a support article link or give you further steps as to who to reach out to. So they're a great team to work with. They're very well versed in your KW tech and they're very efficient as well. But two other things just to mention while we're looking at their page. This agent resources tab at the top is actually a button right now. So we're going to click on that and then it's going to ask us to type in our market center number, which is 350. This will make sure that they know, okay, great, yeah, Valentine. So they are partners with us. Yes, they can access the additional resources we offer. So once we have clicked that, you'll see that this now becomes a drop down menu at the top. So once we're in the drop down menu, there are actually some training opportunities that the Scott Leroy team offers. So you guys can actually head over to training calendar and this will take you to their live training calendar. So very similar to the trainings that we offer here, the Scott Leroy team is also offering technology trainings from 1 to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. I share that because one, obviously we have some amazing tech coordinators in our office who actually started with Scott Leroy, by the way. So you know you're getting great info from them. But they offer trainings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is wonderful. And maybe if we've got a more complex schedule, it may be easier to make a Wednesday or a Friday work a little bit better for you. The other thing I like to point out as well is that obviously we're changing up the topics that we're sharing. We want to make sure you guys are getting great information and it's not just the same old all the time. With that being said, Jules and Leah like to rotate the topics that they share about. But if you're realizing, oh my gosh, I just missed that DocuSign class and I don't know when they're going to bring it back on the calendar, but I really need to get to know DocuSign a little bit better. This is a way for you guys to kind of cross reference with the Scott Leroy calendar and see if maybe they're talking about that topic anytime sooner. It might just make it a little bit more timely for you to get that information. So you just click right on whatever event you may be interested in learning more about. It'll tell you what the topic is, and then there's always a Zoom link right there on the calendar for you to hop right on at 1 o'clock. So this way you guys can still get that live training in, and that way, of course, if you have questions, it's very easy to ask, and their team is happy to help. So I wanted you to just be aware that this calendar exists in case it ever makes your lives easier in terms of helping you with your technology training. The other thing I will mention as well is the store option in the very top right. And that's the last thing I'm going to mention just on this site for today. But if you click on store, I know one of the biggest questions I tend to get is how can I get a name tag? How can I go about getting business cards? Just because, especially when you're brand new, it's very hard to kind of make sense of left from right sometimes. So one of the resources I always suggest when it comes for business cards is going to be agentstore.com. Obviously, first and foremost, you're not limited to agentstore.com. If you'd prefer to do something through Canva that's very unique and beautiful and specific to your brand and your business, you are more than welcome to do that. However, if you are maybe not the most creative person and you're like, I just want to have business cards, Liz, I don't care what they look like, this is a great tool for you because Agent Store actually has templates available that are already branded to KW. So all you have to do is click on business cards, Then it will prompt you to ask what brand you're with. You'll say that you're with Keller Williams. The next question it's going to ask is what market center you're with. And you can either type Ballantyne or type 350, and then our market center will come up. The reason it asks you all that is that once you've designed or once you've chosen your template that you like the best, then it will actually autofill a good chunk of the information for this office automatically. And then all you have to do is go in and input your specific contact information or your photo, whatever may be left on that design to complete. And then that's really, really easy just for you to put together a quick and easy design. What I will say as well with that is that if you have provisional broker status, you are required to get approval on the business card design by our BIC associate, Tasha Viney. She is in the office 3 days a week, and her contact information and her office hours will be something we talk about here in a little bit. But you'll want to make sure you're getting Tasha to review that. Obviously, I know in South Carolina, you guys are designated as salespersons rather than actually a provisional broker status. I still think it's worthwhile to at least ask her to look at it. The worst case scenario, I just would hate for somebody to pay for something and not be able to use it. So she'll never be bothered if you're just asking her for a quick, hey, can you look this over and make sure that it looks okay before I pay anything to place this order? But she'll take a peek at that for you. But that's our business card section. Obviously, they do a great job with other products as well, like name tags. There's different packages you can even get with this team. So Agent Store is a great resource. I also like using them because the price point is wonderful. I was able to order 500 for myself when I first started, so 3 years ago, almost four, and that only cost me $39. So it is something to definitely keep in mind because it might beat out somebody else in terms of pricing. So if you're looking for something quick and easy, this is the best route I recommend. Again, though, you are not limited to this option. You may design something for yourself as long as it's in compliance and has all the right information. And the best way to guarantee that, of course, is double checking with Tasha Viney. So keep in mind, guys, Agent Store is a great resource for you when you first get started. And I'm just going to take us back to our personal KW Ballantyne page now. So those are the three things I like to really talk about when we're looking at Scott Leroy's website, but I will allow y'all to dive into that a little further when you have the time because there's some great opportunities there on that site too. As we scroll a little bit further, we are coming across our list of Facebook pages we recommend joining. The very first is going to be an internal Facebook group just with our agents and our leadership team. This way you guys can join that Facebook group. It is a private group, so you know obviously you're only communicating with people involved with Ballantyne, but it's a great way for you guys to not only get in touch with other agents, because as you can see, there's not 500 people trying to slam into this room right now. So if you guys are looking to get connected with other agents, especially those that may not frequent the office as regularly, this is a great way for you guys to start having communication with them. Also, your leadership team, i.e. mainly me, will be on there blowing up about what kind of events and trainings are being brought into Ballantyne here in the near future so that you guys are always aware of what's going on and you can very easily read about the event and then click on the link to sign up just by looking at that Facebook post. But in terms of the conversation that we're seeing regularly on that page, depending on what you may be looking for, starting out in this office, it's a great way for you to first introduce yourself. Just let everyone know that you're new. People will immediately be liking and loving and saying welcome. So we're a very, very friendly office, I would say. The other great thing is that on that page, you're seeing that agents are talking about open house opportunities. Sometimes they're looking for showing assistance, different opportunities just for you to kind of get your foot in the door. The other thing that's really cool on there and really just, I think, highlights the collaborative efforts in this office is that if you guys are ever in need of looking for a referral partner in an area that you haven't made a connection yet and you're wondering who can I refer my clients to that's trustworthy, or if you're looking for any suggestions for vendors, things like that, if you're struggling to locate those on your own, people will commonly ask questions like that on our page. And they're literally, you will see in the comments, people will screenshot people from their phone, they'll drop in phone numbers just to help you along. So if you are looking for a referral partner or a vendor suggestion ever, there's going to be some great opportunity to find out from other agents in our office who they'd recommend you use. So that's a wonderful page. I do typically send this to you guys in an email when you first join. It's got rainbow balloons on it. And I don't do that to be silly. One, it is to be congratulatory because we're excited for you. But two, it's because then I can say, go find the email with the rainbow balloons. That's where that Facebook link is. It's strategic, guys, I swear. Uh, Underneath that, though, there is also another private group that you may join. It is going to be our strategic vendor partner Facebook Facebook page. So in our office, we do have a vendor program. I know not every Keller Williams office does have one. So this is something that we always like to highlight because these vendors have actually been vetted by other KW Ballantine agents. So we're not just giving you some random name of a company that we've met on the street. This is somebody who's already worked with another KW agent and they think that their products and services were wonderful and they'd highly recommend that you use them. So this is a great way, again, especially if you're newer, getting you connected with trustworthy vendors that offer great services. And on that page, these vendors are participating. They're sharing about their services, sharing about their upcoming promotions, different things like that so that you can stay aware and stay in touch with them. The other thing I also will point out with that is that with Facebook, there's always that cute little search magnifying glass that you can use, and you could just search electrician, and anybody else who's an electrician in our system in that page will pop up. So it's really easy for you guys to then get in touch or pull multiple quotes for your clients. So do keep that in mind because, again, these are going to be vetted vendors. So we always recommend you consider using them. Again, not limited to those vendors. You are welcome to use whoever you choose, but that might be a really great way for you to get some good connections. Underneath that, these two Facebook pages are not managed by our office, but they are going to be great ones for you to participate in if you're interested. The first is going to be the Charlotte Area Realtor Network. So obviously other real estate agents in this area that you can connect with, not exclusive to KW. And below that is the KW Carolinas region. And this is going to be both North and South Carolina. All of the existing KW offices are participating on this page as well as agents. So this is a great way for you guys to get in touch with other agents within KW that may be across the way and maybe just a little bit better suited to help your clients. So sometimes rather than paying for an additional MLS, it's nice to be able to refer your clients to somebody out in Wilmington or somebody out at the beach in Myrtle. So this is an easy way for you guys to then get connected with other KW agents that may be based out of that area, a little more well-versed, only if, again, sometimes people don't really mind who they refer out to. I know sometimes people prefer just to refer to Keller Williams agents because they know they've got great training skills and different opportunities to help their clients. So whichever you may prefer, it's a great way for you to get connected with other agents outside of our office, but within this region. The other thing to mention is that the KW Carolinas region actually offers some regional level training opportunities. So not only could you participate in different training courses, the cool thing is that they actually offer these trainings across the state. They will put them at the beach sometimes. So like what an excuse, like, okay, darn, do I have to go do millionaire real estate agent at the beach? Shoot, that's a write-off. I hate that for myself. It's a great way for you guys to get a little bit of travel in there, even network with other agents just being in a different area. So do keep that in mind. The region offers additional training opportunities for you. When we go a little bit further, if you are new to Keller Williams, you are going to start to hear there's some language that's thrown around in this office, not swear words, I promise, but you're going to hear there's some language that's thrown around. And you're like, that word does not exist outside of this office. I swear to you, I've never heard it before. Some of us are able to kind of piece that together over time, and usually conversations that involve like capping and cap status, different things like that, that usually resonates right away. We know what that is, but there's some words that are a little harder to decipher just based off of what they are. So like a 145. Most people probably won't know what that is right away. I sure didn't. So if you are wondering what some of the terminology that you're hearing may relate to or refer to, this colorism sheet here, I'm not going to click on it, but it will break down like dictionary definitions, if you will, for all of the KW specific terms that you are hearing. So if you're ever a little shy, although you don't have to be, it's an easy way for you to get some context around what you're hearing. It's also great too if you come across this word after hours and you're like, oh, I need some help with that one. This is a great tool that you can pull anytime. We get a little bit further down and we start talking about some of the tech resources that are available for you. This one in particular, answers.kw.com. I would have spoken with most of you guys about when we first met together. This website is wonderful, guys. It is specifically geared towards you as an agent, and it is related to all of your KW technology. So when you go onto answers.kw.com, it is a knowledge-based site that you can just search keywords, and these helpful articles will appear that are going to walk you through what you may be working on or looking at in your own side of things. So that way you have some suggestions of how to continue on, or you get to learn what to do next in order to get to the end result you're looking for. There's also a sister website to this, in case you did not know. It's called ideas.kw.com. And this one is actually built up just dedicated to your suggestions and feedback about the KW technology. Because Labs, who has actually created KW Command, they are constantly looking for different ways to improve that tool for you because they want it to be the best functioning CRM there is. They want it to be efficient, easy, user friendly, all the things. So if you guys are working in Command, whether you came from a different brokerage and you have experience with a different CRM and can bring that kind of perspective to the table, or if you're brand new and you're just like, this is great, I love this feature, but I think it would be way better if it was available on this next page. Different suggestions like that, they're always looking to unveil new updates that incorporate your feedback. So you're welcome to share those ideas at ideas.kw.com. I will tell you though, obviously I do not work for Labs, so don't be looking for like an email from me saying like, thanks so much for your feedback. That's probably not going to happen. So, but eventually you may actually see some of the suggestions get unveiled into those updates. So could be worthwhile as you explore the technology a little bit further. Speaking of Ignite, we did talk about that's a great foundational program. I know many of us are already kind of either gone through it or actively going through it right now. And this is what we always say, it lays that strong foundation for you guys because real estate school really didn't, not to diss real estate school, but it typically really covered more of the law side of things or the legal side of things. And really, I think most people's takeaway is like, I'm afraid to do anything from what they learned in real estate school. But we want to make sure that you guys, of course, know really what it takes to be a real estate agent, what you're going to be doing on a day-to-day basis, how to generate leads, how to interact with your clients, and what those processes look like. So in order to make sure you guys have that foundation laid out, Ignite was actually developed for that purpose. We just want to make sure that you guys, again, you feel really confident pursuing that first deal and working with your first set of clients, because otherwise you might feel a little tentative, you might be a little nervous, and this program is designed to try and help wipe away a lot of those fears so that you go in really, really confident. So we always encourage, we teach Ignite from 9 to noon, Monday through Friday, every other month. So right now we actually are actively doing Ignite. It will return again on Monday. So if you guys would like to jump into that program, it doesn't need to be completed chronologically. So you are welcome to jump in midway and then you can pick up on where you left off the following month when it returns. But they'll be doing strengthening relationships on Monday with Keldia. And that's the other really great piece, is that our top producing agents in this office are the instructors for each course. So that way you guys are actually getting really great information from those that have done it before and right here in Ballantyne. So they can really speak from experience and what they're sharing with you. So we do always encourage participation in Ignite as one of your starting trainings. Again, you guys are welcome to jump in anytime. If your schedule is more complex and doesn't quite allow for you to be part of Ignite in person in this office, please let me know, because there is Ignite After Dark as well. It's done on a national level in the evenings, so it is much easier sometimes for those to attend. If you are interested in that schedule and you don't already have it, just shoot me an email and I'll send that information to you. We also will come across our training calendar in this section here. I'm going to wait and show you guys a much easier way that doesn't involve so much like clicking and scrolling to get to that information. So it's just easier to retain. And then the very last thing at the bottom here is how to book a conference room. So in our office here, we do have 5 different conference rooms. You guys are welcome to use them anytime you wish. They are actually specifically here to help you when you're meeting with your clients. You get that professional environment, you get that privacy, and sometimes it is just nice to be able to, oh, come meet me at my office. You know, there's a little added bonus rather than meeting at a coffee shop to sign some of those papers. So in our conference rooms, we have them, like I said, we've got 5 and they vary in their capacity. We've got some smaller 4-person conference rooms. We've also got larger conference rooms that can seat 8. And usually we have some additional chairs available as well in case you have a few more with you. But that way it's very easy for you guys to determine what conference room may be the best fit for you, and you're welcome to reserve those spaces. We allow you guys to use them for 2 hours at a time daily. So if you guys would like to use those rooms, you are welcome to do so. And we also would say with that, if you're going to be using a conference room specifically, oftentimes we prefer you use them if you're meeting with somebody else versus just looking for a quiet space to work. So if you are meeting with either a client, you're meeting with your coach, you're meeting with just other agents in this office, conference rooms are the perfect place to do that, especially if you're just looking for the additional privacy. If you are just looking for more of a solo workspace that is a closed door environment, so you have that privacy and maybe some additional focus, again, I fall into conversations all the time. And then I really never get to what I was planning to do. So if you are like me and you sometimes need a little bit more privacy and quiet to stay focused, or maybe you're cold calling and you're like, I don't want to have awkward conversations in front of everybody, you're welcome. We actually have 2 focus rooms right outside this back door to the training room. And those are actually just single desk offices that you're, again, welcome to use for 2 hours at a time, any day of the week. So all you have to do to book any of those spaces is just use this register button here. It will allow you guys to go in and create an account through a program called Skeda. And Skeda is just a scheduling site for us. It allows you to see at the very top, once you're in there, it's a spreadsheet that outlines at the top what our conference rooms names are, what capacity they store in terms of people, and then down the side, you'll also see all the times of day. You can literally visualize right away who's got the reservation and when they have that reservation and what room it is, and then where there's gaps where you can go ahead and schedule yourself. All you do is click, drag, and drop, and it's very, very easy to do. Personally, again, this does involve a lot of digging to get to this part in the page. So the easiest way, just a heads up for you guys to schedule your conference room, is under More. You'll see Schedule a Conference Room right there in the drop-down menu. Makes it very easy. If you guys ever experience difficulty with that, I am an admin on that Skeda site, so I can always go in on the back end for you and I can adjust your reservations as necessary. But keep that in mind because those resources are here for you to take advantage of. As we scroll a little bit further, we do come across our wonderful leadership team. Several of us at this point, I'm hoping you have met and got connected with. If there's anyone you've not yet had the chance to meet, you will be meeting a lot of us very soon in the very near future. Also, I do always have to address this. This bothers the heck out of me that it's like just a jar here, like it's a little bit off to the side. The funny thing is, I think for Wix.com, it's based off of your screen dimensions. I know this is total sidebar, but I feel like people think like, oh my gosh, is she blind? Like, how does she not see that? When I'm doing any edits on our website on my end, it looks perfect. The dimensions of this monitor are just a little bit different, so it looks crazy. So I apologize for that. I promise I'm not blind. But when we are going through, again, this is our leadership team. It tells you who we are, what we do on our team, and how you can best contact us via email. That way it's very easy to get in touch about any particular question you may have, or if you're interested in meeting with us at any point, it's very easy for you to reach out. A little bit further, just for your convenience, we've pinned them to the home page, but there's easier ways to access through tech tabs and things like that. But our tech team, Leah specifically, has actually put together 2 fantastic videos here, guys, just to make sure that your lives are a little bit easier when it comes to navigating your KW technology for the very first time. These videos exist, again, just to help you guys with that initial setup. The very first one, ironically, that I recommend watching is the one on the bottom, but that is going to be the connector of how your command account and your DocuSign account talk to each other. That 25-minute overview is going to explain everything you need to do to make sure your accounts are talking to each other correctly, so that when you have your first deal, it's a lot easier to pull up your forms right in DocuSign and have them drop right into your opportunity very, very easily. So I always recommend watching that video. I know most of us as well met with me and got that wonderful packet. That same video should be available to you just by scanning the really, really big QR code that says start here for your KW technology. And above that actually is also how you'll go about submitting commission requests in KW Command. So once you guys go under contract or once an offer is made, it's important that we're aware that there's an upcoming closing because everything is moving the way it should be. So to do that, you guys submit commission requests. Basically, it lets Lynn know you have an upcoming closing, so she knows exactly what to anticipate with that closing check and how you guys need to be paid. So that way you're making all the money you're supposed to. So when it comes to submitting that commission request, again, if it's your very first time doing it, it can be a little confusing at first, and not because, again, it's hard, it's just different. So in order to make sure you guys know exactly what to do when submitting your commission request, Leah's made a wonderful video, again, available on demand. So you guys, of course, can watch it now just to kind of have some precursor information ready to go. But when you are ready to actually go about submitting your first commission request, you can always easily head back to that video and watch it again, so it's relevant to what you're working on in the moment. Eventually, we do come across our training calendar. I think the easiest way to do this is actually click Office Calendar at the top. It will do all the scrolling for you and plop you right where you'd like to be on the page. But I always will tell you guys when we meet together, I really do hate the calendar right here because it is super choppy and I really can't visualize what's going on. So my recommendation, because this can be frustrating to look at, is actually this full calendar view above. It will take you to the Google Calendar that's just a lot more legible. It opens it up really nicely so you can really actually read what those events are without straining your eyes. So when you're looking at our calendar, it makes it really easy to visualize the upcoming opportunities in our office. And please know that it's really rare to come across a training opportunity that's exclusive to one audience. You are going to see things that are open to just about anybody and everybody that would appreciate that training. So what you see on the calendar, if it is of interest or excitement to you, please join us. But it is super easy if you're like, okay, great. So let's see, we've got buyer presentation practice. Like, what is that? If you guys click right on it, it will give you a full description about that particular event so you know exactly what to anticipate. And if it is something that you are excited to attend, you're like, yeah, that's the training for me. I got to be there. It just gives you that additional boost of confidence that you're walking into the right room, first and foremost. But you'll see right there as well at the very bottom, it says offered exclusively in person, no registration necessary. So now I know, okay, I'm going to be headed to the office, but I don't have to let anybody know. I just need to make sure this is on my calendar so I'm there on time. So that is an easy way for you guys to be aware of what, if there is any registration involved with that particular training opportunity, it will always be available in the calendar details. As an example, let me see, I've got one. So we've got another training coming up on Wednesday, May 28th. If you scroll, you're going to see that there is a registration link associated with that class. Usually it is free to register for events. Valentine is a special place for a lot of reasons, but one of the really cool things is it is very rare that we ask our agents to pay to attend any trainings. Today, I know we did have an event with Jeff Glover. That is a random fluke of an of a training that there was a price involved with that per seat, but that's actually because their team is the one who runs the event. It's not us. But oftentimes we are paying we are paying instructors. We're flying them in for you guys, but we are not asking you to pay to attend that event. So you guys get a lot of really, really special opportunities for free. With that being said, oftentimes we do ask you guys to go ahead and sign up just so we know to expect you. Sometimes that's because we're bringing in lunch and we want to make sure, of course, that we have an idea of head count for our vendor sponsors. But also anything that you come across on our training calendar that's ever available through Zoom, you will find the Zoom link always included. So that way, if it's easier for you to attend something remotely one day, that way you have an easy idea of how to go about doing that. You can either go ahead and register using the Zoom link or hop directly on the call. So ideally making your lives much easier in terms of how you'd like to get plugged in. But rule of thumb is you are welcome to join us for anything and everything you see on this calendar, and we would love to have you. So please go ahead, start skimming through, see what events are exciting to you, add them to your calendar, register for them, whatever that may be. If you have any questions on what you see on the training calendar, it's as simple as shooting me a quick email or giving me a call, and I can give you guys more information. The last thing I ever mentioned, just hopefully for your convenience more than anything, not a requirement, but at the very, very bottom left, you're going to see there's an add to Google Calendar option here. If you click on that little blue button, it's actually going to allow you to copy our calendar to yours. That way you can see very easily where your calendar lines up with ours and determine, okay, cool. So I know I can make that training. That's a conflict. I won't be able to do that one. But it's really easy then to cross-reference and see what you've got time for. I also will tell you guys that oftentimes people look at me with like wide eyes when they see this because that's a little overwhelming and I understand that. So days where you're like, oh my gosh, Liz, I can't even make sense of when my doctor's appointment is. You can actually go in and you can hide our training calendar too. So it's not something that's permanently going to be on your screen. You have the option to see it when you want to, and you have the option to take it away when you don't. So keep that in mind. It might just keep life a little bit easier because then you can just have it in front of you at all times rather than going to our website. But if you're okay going to the website, I wouldn't say you have to worry about that. A little bit under the calendar, we're just highlighting within just some of those recurring meetings you're going to notice on there regularly, one of which is ALC meetings. Here at Valentine, we have an Agent Leadership Council. So these are top producing agents that have dedicated some of their additional time to serve as different committee chairs to represent different pieces of Valentine and make sure that we are really attending to those throughout the year and making sure that Valentine is just the best place to call home. I'll talk a little bit more about the ALC here shortly, But our ALC gets together once a month as a whole, and they make different decisions on behalf of Ballantyne. They have really higher level business conversations as well. So if you're curious about what they may be discussing in those meetings, you are welcome to participate. We ask that you just allow the ALC to hold the floor if you come in for those events. So you'll just be more there to observe and listen in. But our ALC is making some great decisions. And the other thing I'd mention with that, just for your information, is the entire, I think, purpose in those conversations is their ALC is designed to be representative of your voices as our agent body. So if there's ever a conversation going around about, oh my gosh, should we change the transaction fee? Should we increase that at all? We don't just unilaterally make that decision as leadership without consulting with our ALC. So we let the ALC have a deciding factor in that decision before it is ever implemented. And that way, again, we did consult with our agents and we got their opinions on it before just unveiling it. The other thing you're going to see here is our team meetings. Those are the second and fourth Tuesday of every single month. And those are really high energy. They're lots of fun. Hopefully you guys have all been able to attend one. I know that several of us are very, very new. So if you've not yet, we are going to have another one on the 27th, so the day after Memorial Day. But it's 11 to 12 o'clock, and they are in person and Zoom. And for at least half of the meeting, Robin is either bringing in a guest speaker, we're having an agent panel, we're doing something of value because we know your time is valuable. So if you're going to give us an hour of your day, we want to make sure you took something away that was very impactful. So whatever that conversation may be, there's always lots of fun with those team meetings. And this room actually gets pretty full. So it's a great way for you guys to get connected with other agents that may just be stopping through for that opportunity. My other favorite thing to mention about team meetings is we actually invite our vendor partners to join us as well. So if you've not yet been connected with different vendors, you are very easy. It's a very easy opportunity where you actually just step right out of the hall. And in the hub area, our vendors will have tables set up so you can stop by, get to know them, start building relationships, get their information. So great way for you guys to make lots of connections all at once. The other here is going to be Tech Tuesdays, and those are offered, like I said, every Tuesday in person and Zoom, run by Jules and Leah, and they are specifically geared towards teaching you guys the beginning steps of your KW technology. So their focus is always for new agents on those Tuesday classes. Underneath, you do come across our wonderful BIC and our BIC associate, Tasha Viney. So we got Sabra, our BIC, and Tasha Viney, our BIC associate. Both of these lovely ladies are absolutely here to support you guys, and they are more than happy to help you however they can. They are both very patient and kind individuals, I promise you, and very, very knowledgeable. So please do not be a stranger. Reach out to them if you're in need of anything. Sabra, I will let you know, she is unfortunately not in the office very often. Her mother is actually going to be 102 in July. I know. Is that not crazy? So her mother will be 102 in July. She looks amazing, by the way. She came to our potluck for Thanksgiving, so she's phenomenal. But if you guys are wondering how you can reach out to Sabre, that's a phone call or an email. She's still available and happy to help you guys. You just won't see her roaming the halls as regularly. Tasha, on the other hand, because Sabre is not physically in the office regularly, Tasha is here Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays to dedicate time to you guys as the big associate. Her office is actually straight back in the back hallway on this side of the office, so just stop by. Just like the rest of leadership, her door is always open if she's available for questions. So keep her in mind. She's happy to help you guys. And then I know we're not quite to June yet, and most of us, thankfully, are very new in our licensure, so there's not as many steps necessary for the renewal process. However, if you do have any concerns about, like, oh my gosh, what is my CE requirement? What does that look like? Am I good to go, or is my license going to get expired, or God forbid, any other bad things happen to it? If you want to make sure that you guys are staying on top of that, there's some great handouts here you can click right on to make sure, okay, how do I check my CE? How do I know what the requirements are? It breaks it all down for you, so it's really, really easy at a glance. The other thing I would mention, I know as well, is a lot of times we start out with our one license in North or South Carolina, and then we want to go get the other one because we're right here on the state line. So if you guys are curious, how do I go about that process? What's that reciprocity piece I keep hearing about? There's a great handout here on reciprocity, so you guys have a better overview of what's required of you, so you save some steps where possible. And then we do come across our actual ALC, everyone that's involved in ALC this year. We've highlighted who the agent is, what committee they're representing, and also how you can contact them because each of these individuals, again, they're looking for support from you guys. They're looking for your feedback. They're looking for your input and looking to help build a little bit of community as well. So if you guys have any interest in what their focal point is, you're welcome to meet with them. They do a once a month meeting with their particular community or committee, I should say. So you're welcome to touch base with them if you have interest in learning more, just want to share some thoughts of your own. But our growth committee is focused on specifically helping to add to our market center to build it up and grow. And they are focusing on helping to also grow specifically your downlines, guys. So if you're curious, like, how can I get into this profit share? I want to get that passive income. What does that look like? I would absolutely reach out to Amber Byers. She is helping you guys to have conversations, build those scripts up so that you can start to refer agents to KW and ideally start building your own profit share. So keep her in mind. We also have Irene, who's serving as KW Cares and the Culture Committee. So really just what makes the heart and soul of our office so special, and also our charitable arm. So if you're curious to have conversations about that, Irene is available. Lindsay Peg is serving on social community. Lindsay Peg Fox, I should say, she got married. But so Lindsay Peg Fox is doing social committee. So that's really the fun celebratory events that we do outside of the office. There's actually a social that will be held next Tuesday if you guys are interested. We get together. I think they're doing Bradshaw Social House, which is right around the corner. And you guys get together, have a few drinks, have some laughs, enjoy sponsored appetizers, and just get to know other agents in the office. We're also going to see Jessica Peg Graham, her sister, who is serving as our Capper Growth Committee. So they're specifically also focusing on growing the market center and growing your profit share, but specifically looking at growing with producing agents outside of this office versus maybe a new agent. Mike Rivera and Richard Schmaltz are both serving career development. So their focal point is the training opportunities that are brought into this office. If you have suggestions of what you'd like to see added to the calendar or feedback of any kind, they are the best to reach out to because they're making sure that our training calendar is conducive of what you guys would like to learn about so that it's constantly bringing you relevant value. And then last is Adam Sellers. He's financial planning. So he's working very hard at the wealth building conversations and happy to help you guys with that. He's looking at actually helping to build an investment club here in this office. So whether you've never, ever, ever invested before and you want to learn more, or you actually have any investments of your own, all conversations and all levels of experience are welcome. So they're working on putting that together so that we've got a really, really great opportunity that eventually we're actually hoping to open up outside of our office. So even your clients could come and participate in those conversations too. So keep that in mind. We are now coming across our pillars of mentorship. So, very briefly, I hope this is more recap than anything. You guys will be given a productivity coach and a transaction partner upon joining KW Valentine, especially if you are brand new to real estate. Your coach is really here just to make sure, again, you guys know what you're doing, right? They want to make sure you know how to get business. They want to make sure you know those scripts. They want to make sure you know how to nurture your clients and go through that transaction smoothly. So, they're really here to make sure that you know how to set up your business for success. They're also dedicated to understanding you and your goals as well so that they can be supportive of that throughout the year. They're also helping to hold you accountable too because everyone knows the running joke, like it's so easy to say, I'm going to go to the gym every day. Do we all go to the gym every day? No, we don't. So your coach is here to make sure that you guys stay on track and actually follow through on a lot of the goals you've set for yourselves. And in terms of getting assigned to a coach in particular, that's usually just a phone call or email from Michelle Amador. She's going to reach out to you guys and she's really just going to want to get to know you better. She's going to want to understand exactly what you're looking to accomplish in real estate, but more specifically your personalities and availability. So she can make some great suggestions as to who she feels you'd be a great fit for in terms of a coach. You're not limited to the decision or the suggestion she provides. It's your decision to make ultimately, but she's going to give you some great suggestions. There's also T group partners or transaction group partners, and their specific focal point is going to be the contracts and forms that you're utilizing. So when it comes to what am I supposed to do? How do I fill this out? I don't want to look like an idiot in front of my clients, please. This is a really great way for you guys to feel very confident because every single week they're going to meet with you guys. They're going over the content of those contracts and forms so you know how to complete them, have very few questions to ask at the end of the day, and it just makes life a lot easier. You feel much more at ease when you're working with your clients. And usually it also saves you some of those bounce backs from Carla in the end of the day from our compliance. So when it comes to assigning you to a transaction group partner, I just shoot you guys an email. I ask you about your availability, highlight the meeting times. Anybody South Carolina at this point, we are connecting you directly with Tasha. You probably saw that at this point. If not, Tasha is going to be your go-to for South Carolina for the interim. We're looking to actually get a South Carolina transaction partner back in our system. Unfortunately, our last had to step down due to some health concerns. So we are looking to fill that seat, and Tasha will be here to help you in the interim. And then just some helpful resources and websites at the bottom, truthfully, that are all available much easier at the top. So we're going to go back up there. Just briefly, FAQ tab here. If you click on that, it's just going to give you some like overview questions that we do get asked a lot, especially as you're new to Ballantine. So if you're like, I have literally no idea who to ask this question to, this will actually give you a pretty good idea of who handles what particular responsibility and or task on our team. So just hover over that tile and it will direct you to who to reach out to. Again, this won't cover every single question you may have. So if you're not seeing anything similar on this little screen here, just reach out to me with that question. I may not have the answer myself, but I'll make sure we connect with the best person. Then we come over to on-demand training in the center here. I click on that. It's going to ask you for a password. So I always tell you guys, I don't know, I can see it from my angle here, but the Wi-Fi password is actually written over there on that whiteboard. It's probably perfectly behind the easel for you guys. But it's going to be a capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350. So super similar to our Wi-Fi password. The only thing that's missing is there's no exclamation point necessary here. But once you type that in, it will open up and now you can see our on-demand training tab. The next tab will also require that password, so I'll repeat it here in a minute in case anyone needs to write it down. But on-demand training, just so you guys again know where those resources are that you can pull anytime. On the left-hand side, if you click on demand, it will take you to our KW Ballantine YouTube channel. And the reason I share this with you guys is actually because we hold a lot of recordings from those recurring meetings right here on our channel. And it's not to obviously diminish the opportunity for you to come in person. We of course stress in-person or live participation through Zoom, most importantly, not to inconvenience you, not to make you have to like add something else to your calendar. It's actually because it gives you, of course, real opportunity to ask questions in the moment, get some clarification, and and build up your understanding. However, life happens. You are allowed to take vacations, and no, you do not have to sit on the Tech Tuesday call on vacation. You also are allowed to get sick, guys. That's okay too. You don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I am had a stomach bug, but I have to meet this. I have to be on that team meeting call. Not necessary. It is okay for life to happen. So if you ever miss any of these training opportunities because you just could not attend them in any capacity live, this is a great way for you guys to come back and find a lot of those recordings so you can figure out what you may have missed, any updates that may be important for you. It just makes it a little bit easier to have access to the information when it's helpful to you. So this channel exists. You'll notice that first and foremost, not every training will be posted to this channel. Again, it really is those recurring meetings, especially those ones geared towards our newer agents, because we want you to have the opportunity to find this information when it works well for you. But you'll see our playlists at the bottom here are organized by what classes get or meetings get posted here. So if it's not classified in any of those playlists, it's probably not going to end up here because not every training is recorded either. But this way, again, it's easier for you guys to come back and figure out what you may have missed. I also like to point it out too, because again, if our schedules are just a lot more complex because we have another job or just other commitments and responsibilities, this way it's easier for you guys to maybe find that information at a time that works well for you. Sorry about that. So that is going to be one that I always encourage you guys to know exists and visit as necessary, especially again, if life is happening. Do not stress yourselves over trying to do one more thing. On the right-hand side, Command on Demand, if you select that on demand option, this is going to take you to the Scott Leroy Marketing YouTube channel. I would have introduced this to you guys initially and when we first sat down together if you weren't already privy to it. But the Scott Leroy team also has their own YouTube channel, and theirs is dedicated strictly to your KW technology. So they're covering all different information on here, whether it's just a couple minutes long in this little video or it's a full length training you can refer back to. And again, it's designed for if you've got more complex schedules, or again, maybe that topic's just not coming up anytime soon on our live calendar, but you really want that timely info because you got a listing. You're like, great, I want to do a Facebook ad, but how do I do that? This is how you can go find that information when it works well for you and when you have the time to sit down and listen to it. But they've got it organized really lovely as well, and it makes it very easy to know what each video will entail before you select it. Because there's nothing worse than dedicating like an hour to sitting and watching the wrong thing, right? You're like, oh, okay, well, that didn't help at all. So those are going to be two just to know they exist as support for you. It's the on-demand training side on the left is ours. On the right is going to be Scott Leroy's. Again, Jules and Leah have just repinned those same videos we already talked about in a more convenient location. And then there's just a blurb about Ignite, which we've already talked about. So we'll go ahead and pass on to the next tab if that's all right with everybody. The next here is Office Resources. And before I click on it, you're going to see a great little drop down comes up. So before I click on it, I like this drop down because those first 3 items are a lot easier to access here than they are within the tab. So the first is advertising guidelines. So this is important because again, if you're wondering, okay, what can I do? What can I not do? I'm not trying to get my license taken away. I'm not trying to get in trouble with the real estate commission. We always say Sabre doesn't look good in orange. Don't get us in trouble. So if you guys are wondering what you can and cannot do with those advertising guidelines, this is where you can find that information. Click right on it. It will literally walk you to a handout that you can easily review. It explains what you can and cannot do, especially again if we are broker status and we're like, okay, I have more freedom, but like I'm not totally sure if this is okay or not okay. If we're South Carolina licensed, it may be helpful as well. But that advertising guidelines list will give you a really good idea of what's allowed and what is not. Also on our advertising guidelines, if you're looking for our KW Valentine logo, there's some great logo files available there, different color schemes too, so it can work with whatever you may be putting together. The other option a little bit lower down, also I should say before I move to that, advertising guidelines, if you're noticing, like if you've got a question about something and you thought that that would maybe help answer that question, but you didn't see exactly what you were looking for, always run your question by Tasha or Sabra. They are happy to help you guys if that was not super explained out in the advertising guidelines directly. Underneath that is concession requests. Again, this is going to be something probably a little more relevant later on. But when you guys are working a transaction and at any point, if you guys are going to do something really cool for your buyers, you're like, I'm going to pay for your home warranty. Like how special would that be? We have agents that like to do that regularly. But of course, that means usually altering your commission to compensate for that. When you are altering your commission specifically, it is very important that we, Keller Williams Ballantyne, as the payee, is aware of the change. So in order to do that, you actually need Sabra and Tasha to sign off on the fact that you guys are trying to alter the commissions and reduce it in any capacity. So if you are having to ask for that request or get that letter signed by our BIC, you are going to want to click concession request right here. It's going to take you to a Google form right here on our website that you can fill out information for, submit that request, and then it makes it much easier for Tasha or Sabra to draft that letter and send it right back to you. The reason we streamlined it that way is because normally when people would just go to her directly and be like, okay, so here's the situation, you get like half the information you need at that point, and then it's just this back and forth, and it prolongs you guys getting the letter. So to make life easier, we will be collecting all that information up front by filling out that Google form, and we can issue that letter right away. The other item is do not call list, which thankfully most of you guys know about already when you walk in the door. There are people who have specifically asked you not to call them, unfortunately. And in order for you guys to be aware of who they are so that you don't risk pissing them off, getting cursed out, thousands of dollars in fines and court time, like nothing minor, or nothing major, I should say. The do not call list is important that you guys know who is on that list. By clicking on that, it will actually give you like step-by-step instructions on how to register so that you can see who is on that list and know better not to call them before you accidentally find yourself in a compromising position. So there are going to be step-by-step guides there in the do not call list section. I would highly encourage everybody takes a look at that early on in their time here so that they just have access to it right away. And if you have questions on that, again, Tasha or Sabra are great resources for you. Now that we've covered those 3, I will just click right into our tab here because I want you to be aware of what else exists on this page. And again, it's asking us for that wonderful password. Just as a reminder, it is capital B, lowercase a, m, c, 350. So again, capital B, lowercase a, m, c, 350. Once we've typed that in, it is showing us, ta-da, it's going to show us some general forms, some office checklists, lots of really good information lives right here on our office resources page. So I always show the North Carolina side. I'm really sorry. I know actually all of us, I believe, have our South Carolina license. So everyone forgive me. I'm going to show you the North side because that's just the one I know better. So on the left-hand side here, when we hit Get Forms, this is going to take you to a Google Drive folder that is built up and dedicated to our KW Ballantyne specific forms for North Carolina. Because again, we know that these are forms that are asked for regularly, and rather than slow y'all down by making you have to ask for them and wait for them, we've put them conveniently on our website for you. So in our Google Drive folder, you're going to find, like I said, office specific forms. So our W-9, when we're working with referrals, we need that W-9 information. This is where you can find it. You'll also find working with real estate agents here. I'm just giving you some examples, although there's plenty to look at. We also have some really cool like little items that's like buyer from walk-in to walk-through. It kind of outlines what you're responsible for handling as a buyer's agent. So if you typically work with sellers and you're like, crap, I'm working with a buyer, what do I do? This is how you can get a little bit more insight there. We also have coming soon no-show information, E&O certificate. We have inter-office referral agent agreements. We've also got different, let's see here, we've also got another just referral agreement. This is for anybody outside, obviously, of KW. And then we've got a little bit further, we've got septic and sewer. I'm going to let you guys know now, Sabre is a stickler for septic and sewer. That's something that not every office has asked for before. So if you're looking for that information, you may find it here. Then also, something else to mention is that there's a lot of disclosures about our partnerships in this Google Drive folder. So while again, your clients don't have to use who we partner with, it's important they know that we do have partners, so they have to sign documents like that. So anything specific to North Carolina office-based forms will live in this Google Drive folder. Anything that is a state contractor form is typically not going to be in here. So what I would say, your state contracts and forms typically show up right in DocuSign for you, or you can access them through Zip Forms, which is an extension of MLS, Matrix, all that fun. And you'll look at that later. But what I would tell you is, depending on where you start, if you start here in this Google Drive folder and you're struggling to find something, go check your DocuSign. If you're starting in DocuSign, can't find something, check the Google Drive folder. So hopefully between the two resources, you've covered all your bases. You've got everything you need. And again, I know that a lot of us are South Carolina licensed. So if you need your South Carolina specific office forms, they're here on the right in a Google Drive folder. And then in the middle, we've got this little section called Get Checklists. Again, if we're newer to real estate as a whole and we're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Or I don't really work North Carolina transactions very often. So what does that look like? Because I know it's never the same as South Carolina. I knew I got you with that one, Susan. I was like, that's you, isn't it? So if you're like, okay, let me get just a refresher. Like, what the heck am I doing? I want to make sure I don't look dumb. I want to make sure I don't get in trouble. You can click right on. Sabre's actually outlined your entire checklist. So that way you know what you're responsible for handling, if there's a timeline associated with that, and you can actually physically then check off, yes, I've done that, and you know all my ducks are in a row. I feel much better. I'm not going to get in trouble later. But she's outlined that for both North and South Carolina, and whether it's buyer or seller side. So you can see that she's really done a great job here, and you're welcome to refer to them as often as you need to. When it starts to become more muscle memory, you probably won't lean on these forms as often, or these checklists, I should say. So you don't have to use them if you don't need to, but they are here to support you and give you that extra confidence if that's ever appropriate. So that is where you can find lovely checklists. CE Shop, just as an FYI, we do partner with two different real estate school sources. One is the CE Shop and one is Superior. So depending on what you guys may be looking to accomplish, whether it's CE, post licensing, there's lots of great tools available to you. And through our partnerships, you guys can actually access a great discount. So CE Shop, just as an FYI, is one of those. Predominantly, they focus on self-paced learning. So it has to obviously make sense for you. Not everyone loves self-paced, and if you're not really sure, like, do I like self-paced? Would that be like a good fit, or would I fail at self-paced because it could be one or the other? They do a really cool opportunity on the CE Shop where you can actually do a free trial of self-paced learning. You do it for a week. If you loved it, you can plug in your credit card info and go. If you hated it, dumpster fire. I don't ever want to see that score again or do this ever again. You guys walk away, no consequences, no nothing. So it's a really great way for you to kind of dabble and figure out if that's a good fit for you and if it's an opportunity moving forward. That's one thing I will mention. Also, just as an FYI, they do lots of different states. So if you're from somewhere outside of the Carolinas, as most of us tend to be actually, you guys can find a lot of those states here as well, depending on what you may be looking for. And the last thing I mentioned and it makes me look like a sociopath because it is a very bottom and the smallest print I've ever seen. It used to be up top in larger print, just a FYI. There is a cool little tool here. It's called Hot Topics under Agent Essentials. I point this out specifically because I know social media marketing is huge right now, especially for real estate. It's great because there's no limit to who you can reach through social media usually, and a lot of times it's free. So, social media can be a very powerful tool to advertise your business and get people to partner with you. I don't know everything about social media marketing. That's Jules and Leah's territory. However, I do know a couple really important details. The first is that when you plan on social media marketing, especially a heavy marketing presence, because that's going to drive a lot of your business, you need to be posting regularly. Like, if not every day, like every other day. I was going to say like a lot, a lot, a lot. And that's hard. That's hard to come up with fresh content. I know, right? It's hard to come up with content. The other thing I know too is it's important that you're changing up what you're sharing. You don't want to be posting the same thing over and over because now social media is super intuitive and it'll be like, oh, nobody liked that yesterday. Nobody's going to like it today. And they'll hide it. Not everyone's going to see it, which is really irritating to be truthful. Because I deal with that sometimes on our own Facebook group. If not a lot of people like my post, it just goes to the bottom. I'm like, oh, okay, so no one's ever going to see that, but that's fine. So if you feel my frustrations at any point, you're like, what the heck do I do? Because that was part of my plan, but like this is overwhelming. This is something cool that you guys can actually take advantage of. Hot Topics is like a whole library here. It's dedicated to blogs, ebooks, podcasts, videos, all different content related to real estate. So whether it is something you as the agent can benefit from learning from because it's a little more informative, or something just lighthearted that gives you a good chuckle, it's not something that is limited just to you as the agent benefiting from it, but this is like your easy button for social media. Copy the link, post it to your Facebook page. Boom, you've hit what you needed to do for your post that day or your first post of the day. And that way you are being helpful. You're still providing resources to the general public, anybody that may be friends with you on that particular page. And like I said, some of these are more informative, some of them are lighthearted. There's one that's like DIY did I do this? And it's about like fails for people doing it themselves, which I think is very funny. There's also one that I love that they put up at Halloween. It's like how to sell a haunted house. So it's like cute. There's just different things that are like fun about it. So again, if you guys are like struggling, like, okay, head against the wall, I have no idea what to post today, that's your easy button. So just keep it in mind. You don't have to utilize it, but if it helps make your life easier, it is there. A little bit underneath that section, Valentine floor plan. I've never had anybody ask me for that, but it's here in case you need it. Just FYI. There you go. See, look at that. Helpful. And also know that, yes, as leadership, we're always here. So you're welcome to ask us too where to find different people's offices. I was going to say, if you're looking for like where somebody's office is in here, you can always ask leadership too, in case you don't want to print off a floor plan or look at that. We will always be available and we're happy to point it out or walk you down the hallway for it. Sue is very, very familiar. I know it's a little confusing at first. We consider it like a football field. So think about like the lobbies, like right at the 50-yard line. So down here we've got one end zone, down here we've got the other. Leadership is going to be on your left-hand side, training room on your right. So just kind of over time, I promise it will piece together, but don't feel bad because I worked here for like 2 weeks and I still couldn't figure it out. So at our old office, it was very embarrassing. I told them I didn't know where the bathroom was. So like for the first couple days that I worked there, I just didn't really drink a lot of water because I was like, I don't want to ask. I was like, that's embarrassing. Like, I've been here for several days. I should probably know where that is. But we'll make sure that you guys don't have that moment because you're better than I am. So that's where you can find the floor plan though, just a FYI. And then numbers to know at the bottom here. This is just helpful information for you that less commonly will you be asked to have this information handy. And if you are not yet South Carolina licensed, you go to get that. Again, I'm not really talking to anyone in this room, unfortunately. But there's like firm license numbers and things like that. I will say for referrals, you guys will want our federal tax ID. Information like that is included. Wi-Fi information, market center number. So good information is just kind of all around this little section here. And again, it's not something you're asked for frequently enough for it to be like muscle memory, unless you're me and you work here and you use them all the time. But always, if you can't recall where to find that info, just reach out. We're happy to point you in the right direction. Just so you know, like I said, Alpha's calendar will take you right to our calendar. Tech resources here is covering a lot of what we already shared. It's just conveniently locating it and organizing it in one little section. And then also under the More tab, I really just talk about these for the most part. I'll show you like one, maybe two. First is our ALC meeting minutes. So if you miss our in-person ALC meetings when they're getting together, having those bigger decisions and implementing different things for our market center moving forward, and you're like, oh my gosh, like what did they decide? What are they talking about? What should I expect? Those are your questions. You guys can refer to our ALC meeting minutes because it's a Google Drive folder that documents everything that was discussed in that meeting. So you can easily refer back to it. We also have prayer request form, and that's really just to make sure you guys know as our agents, we very sincerely consider you part of this family from the moment you walk in the door. So if there's ever anything going on in your personal lives or anything going on with a loved one, obviously it is up to you to disclose that information to us. So I don't want to put anyone in a position to feel uncomfortable, but if you are comfortable sharing that information with us, we would love to know so that we can do the best efforts on our end to help support you. Whether that's just checking in when we see you in the hallways, giving you a hug, or maybe if there's ever an opportunity even further where we can extend that and we can pray on your behalf, or you would like us to ask the Market Center to pray for you, whatever that may be, guys, we are here to do our part in supporting you as best we can. So let us know what's going on so that we can take care and be there for you. KW perks, in case anyone needs insurance, we're new to independent contracting, and oh no, I don't have it through my employer anymore. If you're wondering what that may look like, you can actually click right on that. Keller Williams partnered with, I believe now, Kaplan. You can actually search the insurance marketplace and you'll find all these different programs and opportunities available to you and your household. And oftentimes our agents are saving using that. So if you're curious about insurance or is there a better option out there, I cannot guarantee anything, obviously, but it may be worth looking at just to explore. Also, like I said, we already talked about scheduling a conference room. That's how you can easily do that. KWB firm exclusive listings, just as an FYI to you guys, this is going to be one that eventually will be obsolete because it will be integrated into Command, as I have understood. However, I have no timeline on that, unfortunately. So if you guys are struggling to find a property for your buyers that matches what they're looking for, several agents in this office will regularly take listings, but rather than putting them out to the public and putting them in Canopy or in MLS, I should say, they will actually start by initially offering them specifically to agents in this office. And when that happens, because they're not in MLS, you won't publicly be able to find those properties. So if you're wondering, like, okay, I'm really like hitting the wall here, like I cannot figure out if there's something out there that's going to work for my buyers, you can of course put out there on a Facebook page and say like, hey, anyone got something like this coming soon? That's an option. The second option though is to look at this firm exclusive listing section, because anytime somebody does submit paperwork for a firm exclusive listing, Saber's updating our live Google Doc here so that that information is documented. You can refer back to what those properties are, and then you can reach out to the listing agent with more questions or asking for a showing, things like that, if you are interested. Strategic vendor partners right here. This I will click on because it actually is going to open up to a Google Sheet. So if you are not a Facebook user, I know not a lot of people are, or maybe you just forgot about that vendor page I mentioned, it's okay because we actually track all of our vendors here on a live sheet as well. We break it down by industry. So it's really easy for you guys to pull multiple quotes for somebody in the same ballpark. But you'll be able to see anybody in our vendor program who our immediate contact is, and then also services they offer, websites that may be associated with what they're doing as well. So it's really, really easy for you guys to have a good overview of what's going on and how you can reach out to these individuals for further conversation. I will say that you'll notice, for example, I just saw under cleaning services, we actually are kind of barren right now under cleaning services. We had a few vendors last year that chose not to renew, and that's okay. So what I'm saying about that is not we don't hate cleaners. We actually would love to have some back in our vendor program. So if you guys have ever worked with somebody that you thought did a phenomenal job, whether it's you for your clients, whether it's for you personally, or whether it may just be a family friend that you know does a great job, let us know, because you'll notice that there's several categories where we could fill out a little bit more. And it is mutually beneficial because this vendor also has the opportunity to get connected with 550 agents right away. So great opportunities live and exist for our vendors. So if you would like to make an introduction to us with a vendor you would like to refer to our program, please let us know. It is not a hard process at all. All you have to do is ask them, like you would almost a client, like, would you be interested in? And then start the conversation there. If they say yes, all you have to do is introduce them to Kyrie Smith. He is an agent in this office that's kind of overseeing our vendor program. Introduce them to Kyrie on an email thread together. Kyrie will then coordinate with them about meeting in the office, giving them a tour, going through all like the brass tacks of our vendor program and what they can expect before they commit to it. That way you guys don't have to do that legwork and all the boring and unfun parts. We'll take care of that for you. So you just make the introduction to Kyrie. He's actually got some business cards at the front desk, so it's easy to grab and go. But that way you guys can add to our vendor program as you work with some wonderful people so that you guys also have an opportunity to work with other wonderful people as it grows. So that was that piece there. Outfront Magazine, just a quick talking point. If you liked the hot topic section in the CE shop about like the easy button for social media, Outfront Magazine does something very similar too. Every single month, they release, kind of like a magazine would, they are releasing, I know, right, crazy? They're releasing a calendar overview of a post for every single day. I personally, again, I'm not an agent, so I've not really dove super far into the Outfront Magazine. I can't promise it's like copy and paste worthy, or if it's just like almost like prompts, like talk about this today, and then you kind of get your own like creative liberties with that. But they are giving you a suggestion of every single day what you can share, because again, sometimes it's hard. So save yourself the brain power, save yourself the time and energy, and copy what is already out there. Don't reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. So Outfront Magazine is just another source for that. The last I will mention here is discount codes for real estate education. This will take you to see, again, how you can get back to the CE shop and access discounts through them. They do fluctuate their codes or the discounts with CE Shop, and typically I've seen it as high or as low as like 20%. I've seen it as high as 50%. So you guys can pay attention and see what promotions they're running. Anytime they do flash 1 day sales, I get notified ahead of time about the sale, and I will actually make a post that same day it goes live at 8 o'clock in the morning. I share the promo code right then and there so that you guys already have the information. It's super easy to take advantage of it anytime that day. And I will say they typically like to do them on Wednesdays, just an FYI, in case you guys ever are wondering. Yeah, I was gonna say, right? See, they like to do them a lot. And like there's certain themes, right? You kind of pick up on. You're like, okay. So I think they actually have a couple more that are scheduled for this month. So be aware. On our Facebook group, you'll be able to take advantage of some of those. Superior, we also have a discount code through. I know that they're typically North Carolina only, but Superior is offering 30% off all the time, whether it's pre-licensing, post, or CE. And those are, again, in person or digital, like a live Zoom class. So be aware that those are opportunities for you to take advantage of as the agent, but also my favorite thing to mention is that you guys can share these with anybody you'd like to. If your neighbor is like dying to get in real estate school, or your cousin, and they're like, oh my gosh, I just really would love to get my license, have those conversations, share our codes with them, because there's no obligation for them to join our office because they used it. They can just appreciate the fact that you gave them like this little mini blessing that day. You helped to get their career started and get them into school. And that way they're appreciative of that with you. And depending on who you may be talking to, and you kind of nurture that relationship, if they choose to join any KW office, they may name you as their sponsor just because you helped out with that. So keep that in mind, guys. It is a tool for you to use as well in your conversations with other people. If you do not remember where that Facebook link is, it's a really easy. Just click on our little Facebook icon up here. It takes you straight to our page. And the last thing I'm mentioning is I Need Tech Help. If you guys recall, this takes you to Jules and Leah's calendar, where you guys can book a 30-minute appointment with them for free. It's our tech coordinator's calendar for free, these half-hour appointments. You guys can talk about literally anything under the sun, whether it is KW technology, marketing strategy, period, dot, the end, just talk to me about marketing, or social media specific. They're here to help you guys. And they are more than happy to dedicate that 30 minutes to showing you how to do something so that you can do it on your own. That's all free. It stays free if you do it that way. And then there's also the opportunity for you guys to leverage through Jules and Leah, because they grow with you. So when the time comes that business is booming and you just don't have time for XYZ, or maybe I hate it, I just don't want to do it, but I need it, they also can handle that for you too. They offer those concierge services. So they are here at your disposal to assist you with anything you may be looking for when it comes to your KW technology. So keep them in mind. Those 30-minute appointments, again, you are welcome to meet with them once a week if you'd like. I always would recommend, again, go back to the packet I gave you when we met together. There's a great QR code there to scan to get those core videos out of the way to help walk you through that initial step with the technology. But any conversations outside of what was covered in those videos, meet with them. If you have got questions, talk to them. And they are here Tuesday through Friday, 12 to 2 o'clock, Most of that time, I will say, outside of obviously when they're teaching, is going to be dedicated to one-on-ones with our agents from 12 to 12:30 Tuesday through Friday. They are right here in the hub, and you guys can pop by and just ask them quick questions. There's no appointment necessary. If you've got an immediate tech help question, just pop by the office 12 to 12:30, and they'll take a look at whatever you may need assistance with. But they're a great team, and truthfully, and anybody who's met with them probably can attest to this, but like they're just fun. They're just fun and nice and like enjoyable to talk to. So really, even if it's not tech related, you might just want to hang out with them for a little bit. But that I see. Yeah, right. Exactly. But that as a whole covers everything I wanted to share with you guys on the website. Obviously, it is a little bit more than meets the eye, and it's certainly more than we covered when we met together. So hopefully, this did help to give you some ideas of where different things are, maybe some resources that you immediately are like, that's going to be so helpful. So I hope that that spoke to you. But of course, like I said, I know questions come up 'cause it's a lot. So does anybody have any questions right now? Anything I can head back to just show you where it was again or anything like that? And I know Rita's online, so I'm gonna let Rita drop anything in the chat if she needs to. I'll keep an eye on that. But in person, we feel okay for right now. I know it's a lot, but if you breathe, we're gonna be through. And if you remember, the great thing is I'm gonna post a recording of today's class, guys. I'm gonna post it to our YouTube channel. You can go right back over that recording and you can rewatch everything we talked about, follow back through. And the great thing about YouTube is if you guys think I talk too fast, like 99% of the population, you can actually slow me down on YouTube. That's a really great feature. You can slow down how fast the audio moves. Did you know that? Uh-huh. So I know people who will speed it up because they're like, oh, this is too slow. They'll speed things up. I'm the type that you have to slow down so you can actually make it a little bit easier to follow along. But my recommendation otherwise is just go back through the website at your leisure over this weekend, next week, kind of see if you can piece together what we just looked at and where things lived. If you have any questions, though, I'm never offended. All you have to do is just ask. I'm glad that you appreciated that, Rita. Thank you so much. But yes, I'm never offended if you guys have questions. I know you get so much thrown at you in those first few weeks. So if you just need a refresher at any point, I am your girl. I'm happy to help. Shoot me an email, give me a call, stop by my office. My door is always open unless I'm meeting with another agent. But otherwise, that is KWB Keys to Success. So hopefully you guys had a lot of fun, obviously. It's not really fun. It's more informative than fun. But I appreciate you guys for being here. Sincerely, I know it's a Friday afternoon, so it's not always everyone's favorite time to be in the office. But I will allow you guys to enjoy the rest of your days because I know I did go a little over. And I am going to send you guys one helpful video. Each of you that were in class today, I'm going to send you a helpful video if you want to reach out to like a lot of agents at once. And again, Facebook sometimes can be challenging. There's another really great method, which is an email blast to all of our agents. If you've never done that before, I have actually a video that I'm going to send to you guys. It's me showing you exactly what to do and how to accomplish that. So I'll send that out to all three of you so that you can have an easy idea of what to do if it's ever relevant. People will do that about open houses they're doing. People will do that if like their buyers are trying to get rid of furniture. Oh my gosh, it's the Joe Santagata. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I am going to end class because I have to go give him a hug. I'm so sorry.